Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate agent Brian Chisholm of Chisholm Real Estate Group under Keller Williams based out of Celebration, Florida. Brian's passion for real estate developed while he was still a young entrepreneur, and after obtaining a real estate license in Maryland, he bought, sold, and managed a large portfolio of personal investment properties. 11 years ago, he and his wife made Central Florida their home and started a career as a real estate professional. Today he leads a team of real estate professionals known as the Chisholm Real Estate Group, wherein his team members are buyer's agents Kim Mason, Adrian Thompson, and Jackie Voigt, along with his team assistant Amy Owens. Their business is built on relationships as opposed to transaction, and together they have achieved a high level of success by partnering with and providing exemplary service to their clients. Brian and his team's accomplishments include being published in Orlando Magazine June 2012 to 2015, as well as Hot 100 Real Estate's Best 2008, the Real Trends Magazine's Top Florida Realtors of 2015, and Top Agent Magazine 2011. They have also achieved the Orlando Regional Realtor Association Gold Club in 2014 and 2015. All right, with all that said, Brian, welcome to the show.
Keith, thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
Hey, Brian, if we could start for our listeners, what led you into real estate? Was it something that you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
No, I can't say I stumbled into it. I always was interested in real estate. I grew up in humble means. Neither parents had a high school education, worked very, very hard. And people in our circle got paychecks, so it never really looked like it would ever be an option for me because I was afraid of commission. Never had the courage. When I was 22, I did obtain a real estate license in the state of Maryland. That's where I grew up and lived for until I was 45 years old. But I didn't use it. I used it for investment purposes. I bought investment property. So that's how I satisfied that real estate itch. And I accumulated properties using the money down financing and eventually had 18 rental units that I managed for the next 15 years or so before I started to liquidate them. But I didn't get into real estate until I made a decision to move to Florida. I took the leap of faith. I was 45 and decided it's going to be now or ever, and took that leap, and it worked out.
And can you talk a little bit about what personal attributes, traits, or qualities that you think have most contributed to your success?
The biggest thing, I believe, is patience, people skills, and what I mean by that is communication skills. My prior career, I say at my first chapter of life, I was a mortician, and I worked that business for 28 years. And I worked with people at the most trying time of their life. So when it came to real estate, I looked at the real estate business just like the funeral business. I was helping people get to the next chapter, get to the next move in their life. And I looked at the business as a relationship business, not as a transaction business. So I don't look at myself as much of a salesperson. I look at myself as a person that gathers knowledge daily and passes that knowledge on to clients so that they can then make educated decisions. And they're going to make an educated decision as to best what suits their family's needs, not me. Sometimes with that, patience is really needed. And I developed that patience by helping people, again, as a funeral director, through their most trying time.
Excellent. And do you think you could give our listeners another example of when your traits have played a role in your path towards success?
I guess the biggest time, I came into the market at the end of 2005. That's when I moved to Florida and became a real estate agent. It was October 2005. Florida was booming at that time. It boomed through 2006. And I had an okay year that year. I actually had a pretty exceptional year for the first year in real estate. But then 2007 came, inventory levels started to grow, the market began to change, and then we moved into the short sale and bank foreclosure era of real estate in Florida. I came home one day and it kind of dawned on me that I felt like I was in the funeral business again, because instead of going the route of helping people or helping banks sell their assets that they were foreclosing on, I became a short sale listing agent, and I listed dozens and dozens over the years. And I truly was helping people through a very trying time in their life. Many of them had lost everything they had, and they were trying to just save what little bit of credit worthiness they had, and the best way to do that was short sale. And there's nothing short, as you probably know, Keith, about short sales. So it took a lot of patience. It took a lot of hand-holding getting these folks through, and a lot of encouragement that we were going to get them to the end of the line and they were going to get out from underneath this financial burden. So that patience really paid off, and the relationship building continues to pay off today, because now I'm helping those same people that I helped with short sales sell their home. I'm now helping them buy their home because they've reestablished their credit.
That's interesting. Like you said, it's and I never thought of it in that way. But if you think about, the short sale, it is kind of a loss type situation, right? They're not selling their home to move for something better or to gain something, but out of necessity of finances because of the market. So it's interesting, the transition of your prior life of being in the funeral business, of the loss and helping people deal with it too. This is the loss of a home, which is one of their biggest financial investments of their life, and trying to facilitate that, like you said, to save as much possible credit and move on and get past that chapter.
Yeah, and keep it sometimes it was even more than the loss of just a home. I helped one client with 7 short sales. They were builders, and they had built homes for 30 years and went from building 150 homes a year to 5 homes at the crash of the market. And their whole retirement portfolio was all real estate. And I helped them get it out from under a lot of these homes they had built in Florida and got caught by the market because they couldn't sell them. They rented them for a while and finally got rid of all of them. They spent all the retirement, but they stayed afloat. They continued to build, and now they're a very viable business again, building homes. So it really paid off for a lot of people to hang tight and do the right thing.
Excellent. And obviously, you just mentioned getting in when you did and hitting the market crash as you did. But can you talk a little bit about some of the other adversities or trials you had to overcome in order to have the success that you've had?
Well, some of it was developing partnerships that didn't work. I am a Keller Williams real estate agent. I initially formed a partnership. I came to Keller Williams because my broker at the time, I was with a boutique broker. It was 2007, 2008, and she merged her business with Keller Williams, and we became business partners then. And that partnership wasn't the best fit, so it just didn't work out, and it was a trying time business-wise because we were in a challenging time of the market, and there was a lot going on with trying to dissolve this partnership. So that was that was a big hurdle to get over, and there's a lot of, in our business, because it's a low entry business as far as education and financial money, so there's not a lot of people, or there's a lot of people that don't take this business seriously, and they don't look at it as a business. They look at it as a way to make a few extra bucks, to take a vacation. So that has become, and continues to be, a big obstacle for any top producing agent, is dealing with incompetency. And we just muddle our way through it. Sometimes what we do, a top agent, they'll look up the agent they're working with on the other side of the transaction just to see what they have to do to make the transaction work. I do that all the time. And it's more about putting my head in the right place so that we can get to the end, and that's taking care of the client's needs.
Absolutely. And I guess, like you said, you got started in real estate, and then you kind of hit that, the major market crash of 2008, 9, and 10 there. What kept you going despite having these obstacles? Why didn't you give up? What's your driving force?
I guess my driving force is competing against myself. I'm not much of a sports fan, but I've learned in real estate that I'm a competitor. In 2009, I went the first full 5 months of the year with 2 sales, and I finished up 2009 with 33 sales. I grew up on a farm, and I guess it was my upbringing that we just worked hard, and you continued to work until you succeeded. And it reminded me that the farm that I grew up on was very sandy, and that spring of 2009 reminded me of being a kid and getting a vehicle stuck in the sand, and you get out and dig it out, and you just keep digging, and you get back in, and you keep sinking deeper. But perseverance paid off, and I knew that it would eventually change again, and I figured if it didn't change, we'd all be in the same boat, and that wouldn't be a very good boat to be in. So it's just that I've always had that get-it-done attitude, and if you work hard, you'll be rewarded. And that's really what got me through those trying things. And my big why, in the Keller Williams system, we all have a big why. That's what drives us. And my wife and I were both professionals and worked very hard in Maryland. And when we moved to Florida, my wife works part-time at Disney. And my big why was not to have my wife to have to go back to work full-time. She loves her fun job. And that's what drove me forward also.
Excellent. And I guess kind of, looking forward as things continue to progress, what is your vision for your career and your business, say, over the next 5 years?
Well, over the last 3 years, I've developed a team to kind of keep the business going even when I decide to trim back a little bit in the hours that I put in. So I have 3 buyer's agents, Jackie Boyd, Adrian Thompson, and Kim Mason. They all work on my team as buyer's agents. They work exclusively with me through the Keller Williams system, which is on the Chisholm Real Estate Group. And then we have an admin person, Amy Owens. So the goal is to continue to build the team, help train newer agents. That team will generate revenue for me in the future and increase revenue for the team members that are with us, because we are a top producing team. And it is to also, my goal is to help newer agents become true professionals in the business. As I said earlier, the Keller Williams system is a give-back system. There's no greater feeling than to see a newer agent, regardless of age, young or old, become successful in this business. Not to ride the roller coaster ride of the ups and downs of the paychecks coming in, but to have consistent business throughout the entire year. That is extremely personally rewarding. So that's I don't have super high goals and aspirations, but it is to continue to grow and develop the team and develop systems that make the team work as a well-oiled machine.
Excellent. And I guess kind of on top of that, what do you feel is the best way that you market yourself as a real estate professional so you can have continual growth?
The best way we market is through personal contact and then a very focused internet marketing system. We have, over the years, my market became very broad over the years when the market crashed. And initially I was working in a luxury market, then the short sales came, and I was working anything and everything that came along that built a different database for me. And so today the market that we work is very broad, but we began to focus on a particular geographical area. We focus on the Winter Garden and the Windermere areas of Central Florida. The Winter Garden area is the fastest growing area right now in Florida and possibly in the entire United States. So our main focus is to continue our web presence on the Winter Garden area so that when people type in Winter Garden, Chisholm Real Estate Group pops up, and they know we're the experts that they need to go to.
Excellent. And I think, early you mentioned, and as a lot of people know, the barrier to entry to become a real estate agent is pretty straightforward. You take a little bit of training, you pass a test, and then you're an agent. And I think because of that, like you said, the lack of education or the amount of it, sometimes there's a lot of misconceptions in the marketplace for consumers dealing with real estate agents. What do you think the biggest misconception or myth that people have about working with a real estate agent is?
I would say that every agent knows their business and has the clients or the buyers or sellers' best interest in mind. There are many agents out there that work this business part-time. You really can't work this business part-time and be successful at it, I don't think. There's no way you can keep up with trends and market dynamics and contract changes and lending changes and develop relationships with the right partners like lenders and inspectors and so forth. You need to be full-time in the business in order to be able to do that. So when that big misconception, I think, is that every agent's going to be good, that the only thing they're going to do is show them homes. And that's so far from what a real estate agent really does. A real estate agent is there to provide you knowledge, again, and information. Most people we deal with are educated, so they don't need to be educated, but they need knowledge. And you can't get all of the local knowledge off of the internet. You can get a lot of it, but you can't get that very specific local knowledge. And so people, I think that misconception, again, is all an agent does is show his home. The real work of a real estate agent starts after someone's under contract, and it's keeping it moving forward, and more importantly, it's keeping people out of trouble. We live in a litigious society, and we want to keep people out of trouble, and that's our job.
And let's say you get a call from a family member, they're in another state, and they want to sell their home. What advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs? Kind of like how you take care of your people. And I understand, you could easily look up people, you could potentially do a referral, but from a general advice standpoint, what would you tell them?
Keith, I would tell them exactly what I just commented about. Make sure your real estate professional that you're looking for is a full-time real estate agent. Ask them how many transactions they've closed. Ask them whether they represent buyers or sellers. Ask them the hard questions. A good agent is more than willing to talk about themselves, but you want someone that's knowledgeable, and you want that person to be working in the business full time. That's the best advice I can give anyone, whether it's a family member or an acquaintance. Make sure your agent's full time, and then make sure the fit works for you. You're going to work very closely with this person, and you don't have to be their friend, but you should like them. You should like how they represent themselves and how they treat you, and because it is a relationship-based business.
And if someone needs real estate services, especially in your area, the Orlando, Central Florida, especially like you mentioned, the Winter Garden area, what's the best way they can find out more information about you and how you can help them?
The best way would be to contact me directly at 407-414-5444, or to look us up on the internet. Website is chisholmrealestategroup.com. That's CHISHOLM, realestategroup.com. Or just to shoot me an email at brian@chisholmrealestategroup.com.
Brian, we obviously want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come and share all your real estate professional experience with all of our listeners today. And if you do need real estate services, you can, below this interview, you'll be able to see all the contact information for Brian, his website, and any other contact information, and reach out and see if you guys are a good fit. So with all that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.